Hey Photo Universe, Edward here. Hey YouTube, Photo Universe, Edward here. And that is a Canon 70-200 2.8L IS-2. And the 2 stands for, this is the second generation of this lens, sporting the Kirk LR41 Arca Swiss style quick release plate on the tripod collar. And that is a fantastic lens. One of the best that there is. I've actually shot the Nikon version of the 70-200, the new one that they've got, the VR, and it wasn't as good. It's as sharp, but it's got some close focus. It changes focal length, which is really a goofy thing. I mean, Nikon, I don't know. If Canon can do this, why can't Nikon do it? I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. For the kind of, and Nikon's charging the same money, and it's not as good a lens. It's my opinion. So there it is. Okay, that's not the subject of this review. What is the subject of this review? And the reason that this is not the subject of this review is because this lens weighs 4 pounds. And it's a fantastic lens, and it can do what it does, and nothing else can do what it does. And it's a great lens, and that's why I own it. But it weighs 4 pounds. And if you're a landscape photographer like I am, and you want to go backpacking, you want one of these. That is a Canon 70-200 f4L IS. Ultrasonic motor, weather sealed, 4 stops of image stabilization, the newest image stabilization that Canon's got as of June 2011. Look at it roll around. Why is it rolling? Because it doesn't have a tripod collar, doesn't ship with one. Canon charges you $1,282. That's what I paid at B&H just recently. And for almost $1,300, they don't give you a tripod collar. What's a tripod collar? Well, that's a tripod collar. And that can come off, you loosen it up, you can spin it around. It's a nice thing to have. It adds weight though, I'd probably take it off, even if they shipped it with me. On a 4-pound lens it's important, on a 1.6-pound lens, which is what this weighs, it's not. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't use it, unless I was shooting sports. With that lens, I would not use the tripod collar. I mean, the 24-70 weighs more, and we use that all the time without a tripod collar. It doesn't have one. You don't need it on this lens. Sorry if I sound like I got a cold. Allergies. It's the middle of June. Really bad allergies. This right now. It's been an easy year for allergies. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, 1.6 pounds weather sealed. They make a 70-200 f4L non-IS. And that'll set you back about $700, and that is not weather sealed. And it doesn't have the IS on it. This lens has the IS and it's weather sealed, which is a good thing. So it's the latest version of the IS. You've got mode 1, mode 2. Mode 2 shuts off one of the axes so you can pan with it and still use IS. It's a good thing. Mode 1 is your normal mode. Supposedly, I mean, it's the newest IS. I'm assuming that it can sense if you're on a tripod or not. I don't worry about it. I turn it off if I'm on a tripod. Unless it's a real wobbly tripod, which is ridiculous. But anyway, autofocus, manual focus on off switch, and your focus limiter. If you're shooting sports, you don't want to want the thing to autofocus, if it loses focus, to rack all the way. You can limit the autofocus. That's what that does. So, what is this lens good for? What's the philosophy of use? Well, I bought it for backpacking. Why did I buy this lens instead of the 70-300? Well, now the 70-300L f4 to 5.6, so it's f5.6 widest aperture at 300. That's an interesting proposition. It's a heavier lens. It's like 2.5 pounds, I think. And I can just jiggle the tripod, and I can put the converter that I have, the 1.4 Mark III, on this lens, get it out to 300 f5.6, and it might even be sharper than the L lens. Yeah, the 100-300, I read a lot of reviews like on PhotoZone, give them a plug, and I don't know. Some people are swearing by that lens. They say it's a great lens, but some of the reviews are kind of marginal, so I don't know what's going on with that. It's a new lens. This lens here, it's a new lens too, but it's based on a old formula, and the original 70-200L non-IS is a fantastic, it's legendary. has a fluorite lens element, and it's absolutely tack sharp. Is it as sharp as the 70-200 2.8? That lens? Yeah, almost. This lens is a little bit better. This lens is actually, this lens here, the new one with the IS, is actually a little bit better than the original. I mean, I'm talking a hair. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the three lenses. The 70-200 2.8 L IS2, the 70-200 f4 L IS, or the 70-200 f4 non-IS. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They're all that sharp. But, you know, I'd rate them, this lens is professionally good. And I think it's probably going to be better than the 100-300. I know it's lighter, and that's a prime consideration for me. So what's philosophy of use on this lens? It's backpacking when weight's an issue, but you still want absolutely critically sharp lenses. And that's important. That's why I don't go with the 70-300 non-L or some of those things. So, how important is this? Well, you know, now that we're up to 15 megapixel, 18 megapixel crop cameras like the 7D, and we're up to 21 megapixel full frame cameras, 5D Mark II affordable, full frame, that's relatively speaking. Yeah, you know, no point in having all those pixels and then putting a Coke bottle in front of the lens, in front of the camera. So that's what we're talking about here. Yeah, so fantastic lens, really magical quality images. If you don't get a good quality, if you don't get professional quality results with this lens, you're doing something wrong, or you got a bad one, and that can happen. When you buy this lens, it should blow you away. And then if it's not, then you should check to see if you know what you're doing. Make sure you're doing it right. And if you know that's not the issue, then you've got a bad one, and that happens. Probably 1 out of every 50 is probably not so good. Maybe 1 out of 100. It's more than people think. I mean, it's a man-made product, and quality control, you know, whatever it is, it's good. Canon is good, but a few duds get out every once in a while. Not so much with these lenses. I mean, I remember the original 24-70 had some issues, and so on and so forth. But so there it is, a great lens, highly recommended. I mean, I own this lens. I bought it. I bought it specifically for backpacking. So good for portraits. It's another use for that lens. The 2.8 is probably a little bit better for portraits to isolate the subject, but you can do it with f4. Good for outdoor sports during the day. Would not recommend this lens for outdoor sports at night because of the f4 maximum aperture. You really want it as much help as you can get in that situation. General wildlife lens, yeah, possibly. You could, you know, this wouldn't be my primary if that was my main subject. But for landscapes, you know, sure. And then alternately wildlife, if it crops up, sure, you can employ it that way. Particularly with the converter. But if you're into wildlife, you know this is not the ideal lens for that. I mean, you can do it, but not number one use for this lens. And before people start going crazy, yeah, I know there's people out there shooting this lens on wildlife all the time and getting great results. I'm sure of it. But you know, would those people rather have a 400 2.8 to accomplish the same thing? Sure, if they could carry it and afford it, you know, right? That's what I'm saying. So that's it. High quality, you know, professional quality, fantastic lens, weather sealing, 1.6 pounds. That's where we're at with this lens. And this is the first lens review for Photo Universe. Hopefully the beginning of many more to come, and a lot more interesting topics we got planned, and some photography classes, etc., etc. Looking forward to it all and enjoying the trip. Okay, so this is Edward with Photo Universe. Thanks a lot. Bye.